ciel bleu vole en silence.
Hey, in the last few weeks, I've talked a lot about what not to wear over 50 and some ideas on things that you might want to start purging from your wardrobe. But what about me? Like, what about my own wardrobe? What have I decided to stop wearing over 50? I have a list for you of things that I've just categorically cut from my wardrobe at this stage in life, and I want to share them with you and help you make those choices for your own wardrobe. So welcome. If you're new here, my name is Netta. I'm a personal stylist. My whole focus is on helping you build a wardrobe and a style that you love over 50 and just to have that confident, effortless, everyday style. I do this through obviously this YouTube channel as well as through my personal styling clients and my Ageless Style program, where I've cheered over 5,000 women on to effortless, everyday style. So if you are new, again, welcome. We're going to get right into it. So there are reasons why we may decide to purge or to no longer buy or no longer wear specific things in our wardrobes. And so I want to share with you kind of my philosophy behind what we might consider avoiding after a certain age, because I have a little bit of a different take on this, I think. So I almost always encourage you to purge items or to stop buying items that help you or that may make you look too mature. Like items that are specifically designed for over 50 women and are only sold at over 50 stores are items that I feel like are instant agers and, can instantly date and frump and age and do all of the things that we don't want in our style. So those are the items I'm generally telling you to stay away from. I'm rarely telling you to stay away from something because it's too cool, too young, too fresh, too modern, too trendy. It's almost always that I'm urging you in the opposite direction, because I would rather have you dress a little bit too young than a little bit too old. Like that's really where I'm at and kind of my philosophy about styling. I'd rather have you look modern. And modern really looks balanced and doesn't look like we're trying to look 20, and it also doesn't look like we're trying to age ourselves prematurely with our clothes. So I use that philosophy, of course, as well for myself. And so I'm always trying to avoid things that feel really, really youthful and like I'm trying too hard or like too obviously in the wrong category for me. And I'm also trying to avoid things that obviously look too mature. And those are things, really, many of these things I didn't wear at 20 and I'm not going to wear at 80 because I feel like they're too over the top in one direction or another. So this is less age-wise or age-related than elegance-related and flattery-related and personal style-related. But we always want to look at, okay, what really looks like this is something only a 15-year-old would wear, or this is something that they would only expect a 75-year-old woman to wear. And I don't care if you're 55, 65, 75, 85. I don't want any of us falling to either of those extremes, because I think that that's where we're going to find that we don't love the way that we look. And I want you to love the way that you look. And I want to love the way that I look every single day. Okay, so that's my philosophy on clothes that are too young and too old. Next, the next category of items that I'm purging from my wardrobe are items that I feel like are just not flattering for whatever reason. So our bodies change and they shift, and even though my weight has remained, relatively steady, things have moved around a little bit. So some things that I loved on myself a few years ago, I don't love as much anymore. And so I am making decisions based on things that I find more or less flattering. The more flattering items are going to stay in my wardrobe, the less flattering items are going to leave my wardrobe, because I don't want to have to work that hard every single day. If clothes are a big deal, if it's really hard to get dressed, if we're finding that we have to tweak and zhuzh and style something to death just for it to be flattering, that's going to be a really hard look, and that's going to add a lot of stress and time and mental energy to my morning, and I just don't need that. So getting rid of unflattering items is something I think we should all, rather than saying, I'm going to figure this out, I'm going to tough it out, I'm going to make it work. No, some things are just not meant to be, and it's okay to let them go. Next is items that no longer represent my personal style. So they might just be items that I used to love and I don't love anymore. And we have to give ourselves room for our style to evolve and not necessarily try to duplicate the style that we had, that we loved 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Chances are your style has evolved, and definitely trends and what's available in stores has evolved. And so we have to kind of let ourselves grow with that and grow into our new style. So there are things that I love now that I would not have worn 5 years ago, and vice versa. Things that I loved 5 years ago, I just would not wear now. And so I'm really allowing myself room to grow in my style and to let go of things that no longer represent my personal style. So I would say those are the three categories: unflattering items, items that feel off to me in terms of feeling too young, feeling too old, and then items that no longer represent my personal style. I would also add, and I did this a long time ago, that I took items out of my wardrobe that are not in my color palette. I see myself on camera way too much to try to fool myself, into thinking that camel and beige love me back. They just don't. They just don't. They don't look good on me. They haven't looked good on me ever, and they look less good on me the older that I get. So I feel like we need to lean into our color palettes more as we get older, because it makes everything come together more easily. It makes our clothes light us up rather than detracting from us. I don't want something that's going to highlight the dark circles and brown spots on my skin and make me look tired and sad. Like, that's just not what I'm going for with clothes. So I'm going to purge the colors that I know don't love me back. My kind of little, saying about this is you can have blush or black. You can't have both. It's generally true that you look good in those soft muted colors, or you look good in black. And most women don't look as good in either of those colors. I'm a girl that looks good in black. I do not look good in blush and other muted colors. And so I'm going to avoid them. And I would encourage you to lean into your color palette, because it's going to make everything else so much easier. Okay, so let's get into the items that I have decided to eliminate from my wardrobe over 50. The first is short shorts. So first of all, I think part of this is trend related. Shorts are mid-thigh right now, and truly, I did a whole video on shorts. That's the most flattering length for most of us most of the time. It's also modern, it's cool. Longer can be awkward, and shorter can be like, I'm trying too hard. And I just feel like everything is hanging out. And even though, again, my legs are slim and I'm comfortable with that part of my body, I just don't want that kind of overexposure. I don't like the way that looks anymore. It just looks off to me. Just looks a little off to me, especially if the shorts are shorter and like ripped jean shorts that are super short. I'm going to save those for my 18-year-old daughter. Just don't feel like they suit me anymore. This isn't saying that anyone else has to give up their short shorts. If you love wearing short shorts, go for it. You're going to have to make that decision for yourself. But for me, they're not a thing for me anymore. I don't love the way that they look. Like I said, I feel a little overexposed. I feel like they lack elegance. They're not really lining up with my personal style, where my personal style is right now. If my style was a little funkier, edgier, maybe more casual, maybe I would reconsider, but they're just not for me anymore. Okay, next is really over the top platform shoes. Now again, this is a little bit of trend related, because really over the top statement platform shoes, with the exception of the hot pink Barbie platform, but overly embellished statement platform shoes just have not been in style for a while. I had a pair of Betsy Johnson ones. My mom bought them for me. This was years ago, and they were just so over the top. And the only way to make those shoes look elegant was to pair them with something that was completely plain and simple. And I love to have fun with my shoes, and I love a good statement shoe, but this just felt like it veered off into a little bit tacky for me. And again, trends have changed, and that was a trend at some point, and it's not anymore. And I just don't love the really over the top platform shoes. I feel like they either need to be a platform and be really simple, or they need to be a statement shoe and not be a platform. But the combination of platform plus lots of embellishment I'm just not feeling it as much these days. So that's a me thing again. The next thing I have given up over 50 is a ton of cleavage. I just feel like, first of all, I've got quite a bit up there, and that's increasing. It's increasing, and I don't want my bust to walk into the room 20 minutes before I do. Like, I just don't want to lead with that. I want a more balanced and elegant look, and however I'm expressing my style that day, whether I want to look polished or I want to look fun, I don't ever want to look like I'm trying too hard to be sexy. That's just not a look that I'm going for. It's not something I love. And when you've already got quite a bit up there, you really don't need to amplify it by showing it all off. Like, I kind of feel like it's obvious it's there. I might as well just keep that to myself. So not just something I'm loving these days. I just don't. The next thing, and these are kind of along the same lines. Again, these are for me. You can make your own choices about what works for you and what doesn't for you. And if you have a smaller bust, A, I would say you're blessed, and B, you can wear the low cut things, and I feel like they look so elegant on someone with a smaller bust. But again, we're all gonna have to make those decisions for ourselves. Next is short and tight. So along the same lines, like I'm not wearing a short tight bodycon dress anymore. I just don't know. I just feel like it doesn't look right on me. And it's not, again, it's not a body thing. It's a personal style thing. I just don't love that look anymore. Again, a lot of it has to do with trends, right? And a lot of it has to do with where I'm at in life as a mom, as a volunteer, working with my church. Like those are just, that's just something that doesn't align with me anymore. I don't want to wear a dress that my daughter might wear, right? And she doesn't even really wear those dresses, but whatever, like it just feels off to me for where I'm at right now. And I'm not reaching for them. You know, I had a couple from, you know, a while ago. I'm just not reaching for them. If I'm going to do something fitted, I want it to be a little longer. If I'm going to do something short, I want it to be a little looser. I like that balance in my outfits more these days. Okay, next. This is a controversial one, and I'm almost afraid to say this because I might take it back, you know, like I might change my mind. But for now, I'm really not reaching for long cardigans. I'm not reaching for long cardigans. About a year, not even a year ago, maybe 8 months ago, we did like a dress like your elders event at youth. I don't know who came up with the theme, but all the kids came dressed as grandparents and they all wore long cardigans. I think, again, this is partly trend related. I'm really liking, and what we're seeing a lot of right now is short cardigans that look great with dresses, and they're easier to layer, and you know, you can wear them buttoned up as a sweater, you can wear them unbuttoned as a layering piece, and I'm just loving those the most right now. Like that's what I'm leaning into right now in my style. Long cardigans, I'm petite. They're hard to style. Definitely don't wear them over dresses. I definitely don't wear them over anything else straight. I just find them to be hard to style, hard to work with, and I feel frumpy in them. I feel like a schlumpadump, and I'm not loving long cardigans. Again, that doesn't mean that long cardigans are out for everybody. I'm just not loving them right now for me. Only one I have right now is I do have a Quince oversized boyfriend cashmere cardigan in cream. I wear that as like a cozy layer when I need something like on a plane, or sometimes I keep it at my desk if it's cool in the house, but I don't wear them as part of an outfit anymore. Next, bikinis. Okay, why no bikinis? Because I've never liked my belly. I've not even at my most fit, I never liked the middle part of my body. I have had do crunches on my New Year's resolution since I was 12 years old because I just never loved that part of my body. And the main reason for that truly is that I have a shorter torso and longer legs. So I always felt like a bikini chopped me off and made my torso look shorter. Again, this is not an age thing. Go wear your bikini. If you're comfortable wearing a bikini and you love the way you look in a bikini, wear your bikinis. I have not liked the way I've looked in a bikini for a really long time. And then the two C-sections 19 months apart did not help. So I just am not a bikini girl anymore. I love the look of a sleek and elegant one-piece bathing suit. It's lengthening to my torso. It just keeps everything like clean and elegant for me, and it just makes me feel prettier. So I'm not wearing bikinis these days. Again, that's a me thing. But I don't think I'm looking back. Who knows? That might change. One day I might be like, I love my abs. Bikinis for everybody. But right now, they're just definitely not for me. Okay, the next thing I am not wearing anymore in my wardrobe is plastic jewelry. So I love statement jewelry. I've always loved statement jewelry, and I'm a trend girl. So if plastic jewelry makes a huge comeback, again, I will probably change my mind. But right now, I just do not feel drawn to plastic jewelry at all. Again, we've had the quiet luxury and the old money and the dainty jewelry look, and I just love the look of elegant jewelry these days. And plastic jewelry, with the exception of a few maybe vintage or really cool and unique pieces, just looks cheap and like just not, I don't know, it's just not cute to me anymore. I'm not reaching for it ever. Had a couple of statement pieces that I've saved for like costumes and things, but they're just not something that is representative of my personal style anymore. So the only plastic jewelry that I have that I would consider wearing at this stage in life is I do have a 60s Bakelite necklace that is really cool. It's like an olive green color. I would do something like that. That's obviously vintage and cool and does still represent my personal style. But the other plastic pieces I've had in the past just do not. Okay, next, thin t-shirts and very tight t-shirts. So I'm really not loving very thin knits anymore, especially I have olive skin, and especially a white or light colored thin knit. You can see my skin tone through it. I do not like that look. I want a more substantial knit in my t-shirts. I don't want something that's going to show every lump and bump. I don't want something that's going to show, I like the opaque look in t-shirts. I do not like a slightly sheer t-shirt where I can see my skin tone through it. Again, that's a little bit specific to me because I do have olive skin, and I just don't like, I don't want to see the full outline of my bra through a t-shirt. I just don't. And I don't want to not be able to eat a grape and have it show through my t-shirt. Like I don't need that kind of grief in my life. So I feel like I just want a t-shirt with a little bit more structure. That's going to be an easier thing for me to pull off. That's why I really like that ponte. It's not even really a tee. It's the shape of a tee, but it's a ponte knit top from Quince. It's got great structure built in, and it just doesn't cling to every lump and bump. Okay. Now that I'm on a t-shirt rant, let me talk about baggy t-shirts and event t-shirts. I have purged all of them from my wardrobe. I have no more baggy t-shirts or event t-shirts in my wardrobe anymore. The only ones I've held on to, I have a couple from volunteering at church that I wear to youth on special nights when they call for it. Otherwise, I'm just not reaching for them anymore. So I don't feel cute in t-shirts with things on them, with events or races or whatever. And so I don't need them in my wardrobe. I have other casual shirt options. So all of the baggy t-shirts and the event t-shirts and the t-shirts with whatever promoting brands on them, those are all gone. Next, I want to talk about bulky sweatshirts and sweaters. I am a petite person with a relatively full bust, and I do not like the way I look in really chunky sweatshirts and sweaters. I look and feel like a snowman. I don't know what it is. It just makes me feel like a little football player or something, and I just don't like it. If I do not have some skin exposed, either at the neck or at the sleeve, it's just a very unbalanced look. So a big, bulky top layer piece, just not for me. Not for me. I do not want to look like I've padded the top part of my body by adding a really bulky top layer. I don't like that look at all. I haven't liked it in a while, and every time I see myself in a picture trying something like that on, I'm like, no, just not for me. So I'm going to pass on those. Next thing I don't wear anymore are really thin jersey dresses. This is going to go along the lines of the t-shirts that I said that show every lump and bump. If the jersey or knit material is really thin, I'm just going to say no to that. Wrap dresses that are really thin and slippery and hard to stay tied, like I just am not feeling those anymore. I just don't feel like they're that flattering. I don't like the material. I don't like the way it drapes. I feel like it hugs everything in a way that I feel is like a little too overtly sexy. I don't know. I just don't feel them. Again, this is trend related. They haven't really been trending in a little while. And even wrap dresses look a little different. They've got a little bit more of a flowy skirt. They're a little bit more of a midi length than they did, a few years ago. And that I like. But the really thin jersey dresses, especially thin jersey wrap dresses or thin jersey like bodycon dresses, just not for me. I'm just not loving them anymore. I just don't feel like they have a real elegance to them for me anymore. Knit joggers. So joggers for me are like, I love a good jogger, but I love a jogger in like a woven or like a faux leather or a real leather. I do not love joggers in knit materials. I don't love sweatpants, basically. I just feel awful in them. Like if I'm going to go for a jogger, I want it to look a little bit more elevated. I just feel, and I know that sweatpants are designed to be super casual, and I get that. But when I wear sweatpants, I feel like just schlumpy. I just feel schlumpy. I feel awful in them. And there are other comfortable pants that look cuter and don't make me feel schlumpy. So why would I choose the schlumpy pants when I can choose the cuter pants that are as comfortable and as practical? Also, I live in Florida where it's 100 million degrees most of the time, and I don't need sweatpants in my life. I need a great pair of chic joggers that I can dress up and down a little bit and that make me feel cute while staying casual. That's where I'm at right now. Just say no to the sweatshirt jogger things for me because they walk into a room before I do. They're just way too bulky on my frame. I think that's it. I think I covered all of the things that I am no longer reaching for in my 50s. At 54, I'm just being much more particular about what I choose to keep and what I choose to hold on to. What works for my style, my frame, and also kind of feels modern to me now, and what just doesn't, and what doesn't feel as relevant for me anymore or as much of a part of my life or my style anymore. So we have to give ourselves room to evolve, ourselves room to change. Like many of these things were things that were go-tos for me, 15, 20 years ago, and I just don't feel that way about them anymore. And that's totally okay. And you want to come up with this list for yourself. Like, what are the things that you've decided feel off for you for whatever reason, feel like they don't align with your personal style? They feel like they're not flattering, or maybe they feel like they're veering a little too young or a little too old for you. Again, we all get to make these decisions for ourselves and lean into our own personal style and decide what we want to look like in this era of life. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I want to know what things you're no longer wearing at 50, at 60, at 70, wherever you're at. Let me know in the comments, and let's continue this conversation. If you're not in my private Facebook group, I would encourage you to go ahead and join that. We're going to keep discussing this here and kind of deciding what we've all decided that we're just going to do a hard pass on at this stage. Love you guys. If you like this video, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to subscribe so we can keep hanging out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.